Yo, 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 yo. Good evening, everybody. What's up? What's going on, man? We are back. Ball Guys Know It All podcast. I am your host, John Carter. Give me some claps in here. Have it up for me. It'll be a great show tonight. My co-host Kevin can't make it tonight because he's in Houston doing big business deals. So shout out to Kevin again. All right. Tonight's going to be a great night. We got a Richmond Raider legend with all the numbers and all the stats. So going to show you everything he got. What a story. Storming Norman Whitley. All right, gonna get to him. But first, we run these ads for our sponsors that help sponsor this show. All right. First up, I have.
Attention all Richmond County residents. Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Introducing online personal training sessions from a hometown native tailored just for you. Whether you prefer one-on-one attention or the camaraderie of group sessions, I've got you covered. DM me or send me an email to bdwall23@gmail.com to get started.
All right. Interested in getting some health, some workout, hit bdwall23@gmail.com. All right. Once again, that's bdwall23@gmail.com. All right. She is homegrown, got a good workout plan, training plan for everybody. So hit her up for that. All right. Next up, I have 1 second, you guys. My bad. I'm a little behind schedule. Next up, I have my wife, Rochelle Tillman Carter. She has an event coming up this month, her and her friend Jessica. And I want to help promote her. So, all right. Let's show this thing. Where we at now? All right. I might do a little later. It ain't coming up. But all right. Let's get into this thing, man. Bring it to the stage. One of the all-time Raider greats. A guy that done it like not many have ever done it. This guy has been, you guys asked for him a long time ago. Here he is. Let's give him his flowers. Standing ovation. Storming Norman Whitley. What's up, my guy?
What's up, John? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed. How you favorite, man? Thanks for coming on this evening, man.
I appreciate you for getting me on here, man. It's been a long time coming.
It's gonna be a great show tonight, man. Shout out to Train for letting us a while back. Shout out to Demetrius Covington for linking us together. Like I said, it's our first time really talking, you know what I mean, ever. And find out we can have history together. So, you know.
Yeah, it's
the
a
county.
small world, man.
It's the county. We all somehow in the county, man. But tell the folks, hey man, how you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good, man. I can't complain at all. Like I said, it's been blessed to be able to have this opportunity to be on here. I would like to thank you and Kevin for coming up with this thing for the county, because the people has to know. The people will know, right? You had a lot of great people before me. I can't take anything away from them. Like when I hear their stories, it's like, man, like what we did, what we doing is nothing compared to those people like some of the greats that's back then. But to be able to hear their stories and where they come from is very, very important.
Yeah, man. We all play a part in this Raider thing, man, and you played a big part in it. So we're gonna get started this thing, man. Before I get started, Storming Norman Whitley. How you like that storming part?
Man, that is kind of crazy because nobody didn't really start calling me that until I got in junior high. So that's like later on.
Where'd it
And
come from? You just
a general they called Stormin Norman, and he was a person that got straight to the point. He was a person that didn't play no business when he was out there on the field, the war field. So they kind of has stuck with me throughout the days.
all right. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So tell the folks that don't know what part of the county you come from.
South Family. I come
South
from
Hamlet.
South Family. The projects actually to be exact.
Okay.
But South Family, born and raised, born and raised.
I thought there was a couple. It's
Like we deep here.
quite
We
a
deep.
few stars that came
We
out of
we
South
we,
Hamlet
we deep
Project, buddy.
around. We deep around here. It's like there's a lot of people that went through Richmond that did a lot of great things that are from this area or have played in this area of football. So to be able to even play against those guys has been a great thing for me. But to be able to be from Hamlet is something I'm proud of.
Cool, cool, cool. So growing up in South Hamlet, man. Tell me about South Hamlet. Was it family oriented? Was
We went, well, I guess you would call it somewhat family oriented. Whenever you see the same guys, you go outside and play with the same people. Coming from the projects, there's a lot of other people that lived in the projects or lived around the projects to where like everybody just came together, whether that's at the park playing basketball, whether that's on the road playing football, or at the park playing football. Um, South Family, like I said, there's a lot of family and friends, but you got people like Jamar Bryant and his brother Richie Houston, Danielle Ellaby. All of us played the ball.
all that South Hamlet?
Well,
Hamlet.
man. Yeah, that's close enough to South Family because Danielle was right over on Charlotte Street, so it's kind of close enough, close
Okay.
enough.
Cool, cool, cool. So your earliest memory of football, what would that be?
The earliest memory I have of football, I'd never forget it. It was the memory of seeing these older guys that I just mentioned play football, right? They was out on the football field, and I wasn't old enough to play football. I'd never forget it. I used to cry a lot, man. I used to be an emotional child growing up. So whenever I would see my brothers and the older people play football, I'd never forget it. I used to put on the helmet. Every time they take off the helmet to get water, I used to put the helmet on, right? And my dad used to tell me, like, if you're gonna put that helmet on, you're gonna get out there and play. So I never forget of telling him that I wanted to play. And he went home, I guess, talked to my mom about it. And next thing you know, I'm out there playing on the football field as the youngest person playing on the football field, right? And first position was nose tackle.
Listen, running back, first position is never
Nose.
running back.
Nose. I was
Oh,
nose. I was the youngest. I was the youngest person on the team and played nose. And it took me a while to get it,
and
catch
what
on to
team
the
was
position.
this?
This was like the Rebels. We used to
Rebel.
have the 49ers and the Rebels in South Hamlet, like Pop Warner Memorial Park days.
Okay. Who's
Um,
coaching?
Coach Loveland. Coach
Coach,
Loveland. I
Coach
remember
Levin?
Coach Loveland being out there. Wilbert Snipes used to be out there.
Right.
My dad and Jamar, them dad, used to be out at the field here when we wanted extra time to be out there playing because we used to get together as kids and play. And the adults would come out there, which would be our parents coming out there watching us play. So, but Pop Warner days, that's who it used to be.
Yeah,
I
man.
remember.
Coach
We used
Levin.
to travel. We used to travel.
Yeah,
We used to travel.
that's something that I didn't find out until my older days that Hamlet was traveling way back then.
Yeah.
Coach Lovin still today is involved with your football. I mean, still today he helps me out incredibly. So clap
Yeah.
for Coach Lovin, man,
I
for all
give
the
him a I give him a lot of credit for a lot of things that
yeah,
like
man.
we went through and grew up through him and Wilbert Snipes.
And clap for Coach Lovin and Wilbur Snipes, man. Cause Snipes, I don't know him, but Coach Lovin, man, he's
Wilbert
very
Snipes, the LB boys will know Wilbert Snipes, and some of them older guys like Mike Quick and them, they'll know who Wilbert Snipes is.
okay. Cool, cool. So when did that ball eventually land in your hands?
Man, so it took a while because you got to think I was competing against people like that's when Janelle used to play running back, fullback, I want to say. Tamangas Martin and them
Make it
boys,
smart,
which
yeah,
was much older than me, right?
yeah. Make it my
So,
age.
yeah, yeah. So them boys was out there. So I didn't have no chance at that point in time. But like once they got a year or two older, that's when things started to form for me. And they put me at running back. And when they put me at running back, that's when things kind of took off for me a little bit with understanding the position, right? You gotta
So you're
understand.
naming some guys that's my age, and you was playing with them.
Right, right,
What was the age group?
right.
Like,
So
what?
no, it's tiers, just like you have tiers there. It's tiers, right?
Okay.
But whenever you talk, when you're talking about practice, we talking about this age group going on this end of the field, this age group going on that end of the field. But guess what? We all from South Hamlet. So guess what we're gonna do after practice?
Bump.
We gonna go
Line
at
up.
it. So those guys was much older than me, and not to take anything away from them. I didn't stand a chance at that point in time because like those guys, they didn't take any pity on me at all.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit. How many siblings do you have?
Just me and my brother, and well, it's me and my brother, and then we have a little brother, which is Brandon.
Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming Train is a little
It's,
bit older than
it's,
you, right?
it's older, yeah, yeah.
So
My
how
brother is
important?
two and a half,
How
3 years
important?
older.
How important was it having a brother a little older and you running behind them trying to be, how important was that in the development of Storm and Norman Whitley?
Man, that thing was crazy, man. Because he tried to kill me every time we was at home. What you mean? How was that? That was crazy. Our age gap is roughly 2.5, 3 years apart.
Okay.
And I remember playing Pop Warner football, and I was young. Like I said, I was young. We stayed in the projects. I never forget it. We stayed in the 3-bedroom apartment. And I never forget it. He was like, "Yo, you're not ready to be out there, and when you're ready to be out there, let me know or whatever. We can bump heads or whatever." So I never forget. We had this hallway. We had a hallway, and he would put on his shoulder pads and helmet, and I would put my shoulder pads on and helmet. And he was like, "You can have the ball since you want to run the ball. You can have the ball or whatever." But what he was trying to do is pretty much lay me out. So I never forget it that the first time we ever lined up like that, I ran as fast as I could and ducked off in the room, and he just dove and missed me. Right, so I remember that was a critical moment. Then later after that, I was like, "Let's go," and we thumped heads. And once we thumped heads, I knew at that point in time, like I'm ready, like we ready. So
So so it,
it was a challenge. It was a challenge because not only did I grow up with him, you got to think wherever my brother was, Jamar and Man was too, or Jamar and Derek Bonds. So wherever I was, they were too, and I'm the youngest out of all of us. So and then we got Sam Gandy that's a part of us too. So like I'm the youngest out of everybody. So I used to get it the worst.
yes, them boys created a man child out of you.
Right. So they used to take advantage of me as a kid,
That's
especially
cool.
like that.
Okay. All right. So now you finally got that ball in your hand. When did you realize, hey, I'm pretty good?
I didn't know. I didn't know. Your like growing up was a little different for me. You know what I'm saying? Our parents worked so hard to have the things that we had. So anything extra out of what our parents was giving us, we had to kind of work for it. So me and my brother had jobs as well too, right? So
Yeah, jobs at what age?
probably like 13, 14 years old,
What you got doing? Cutting grass, stuff like that.
working at the funeral home, Nelson's funeral home,
At the funeral home.
washing the cars, and making extra money. You know, he 2 or 3 years older than me, so he was in high school, and I think he worked at Food Line at that point in time.
Okay.
Um, but the whole process of growing up was a challenge, right? But we made it through. I forgot your question, but we made it
Nah,
through.
you good. You good. You good. You good. Good.
What was your
Um,
question? I'm gonna answer it. What was your question though?
it was when did you
When did I realize that I
you
didn't
good?
realize it? Actually, I didn't realize it. I didn't really realize it. I never really realized it until people started talking, right? But whenever I got into 7th grade, that's when I realized that I played a pivotal point on the team. When I got to 7th grade, that's when I realized that hey, I had a chance of being good.
Well, I think I was talking to a guy that does youth football, and he was from Raleigh. He was talking about Norman Whitley and all this stuff there, like Pop Warner days. So I know by the time you got 7th grade.
Right. So before 7th grade, when you're talking about Pop Warner days, when you want to go back to Pop Warner days, when we played Pop Warner, we used to travel to Kings Mountain, Raleigh, Durham, Apex, Kingsmouth. The beach, Wilmington. That's where we would go. Either the game was going to be at home or the game was going to be away, right? So of course, like I said, when those guys got older and it was just me on the team, it really wasn't just me on the team because you had people like Jamar and
Y'all
people
was
like that.
loaded then.
So you had Danielle Ellum. You still had people that was on the team that was still like good people. So having a shine then wasn't that big of a shine until they actually left. And whenever they actually left, I remember then that's when my dad used to like tell me like, "Yo, you got 2 touchdowns. That's not good enough. This is at Pop Warner. This is not even good enough. I need you to have like 4 or 5 touchdowns." And that's what I used to do.
So now I'm also hearing dad is in
Oh
your
yeah,
life,
dad is very present.
and he on you,
Used to
pushing
walk,
you to be better than you
used to
ever can dream
used
of.
to used to walk every day from South Hamlet to the fairgrounds to go to practice every single day. Every single day. We had a car, but my dad felt like that was a time to be able to bond with us. So he
Wow,
used to walk with us, and it wasn't that far of a walk.
wow, that's important though.
That's
That's
very
very
important.
important.
That's
Yeah, wow,
that's
wow, yeah,
very
wow.
so like when you're talking about like
I'm
that
gonna
time
start crying, boy. Wow.
that time spent with my like your parents is never going to tell you like you the best, you good. They always going to push you to be better than what you are. So with that, like he just always pushed me. He always said, "Hey, you need to do better. You need to get better. You need to do all these small things." So walking and having that talk with us was very important.
Great, great. So we still playing Pop Warner football. All the dogs done moved on and aged out, and now you the man.
I'm the man at that
The
point.
man. So now we're scoring 4 and 5 touchdowns a game instead of 1 and 2 and
Right.
shining all over the state.
And then we shining at that point. We shining. We playing a lot. And then I never forget this too. Like I'm gonna give somebody their flowers. Jimmy Roscoe. A lot of us Rockham boys might know who he is, but Jimmy Roscoe was a coach, and he coached for the Mini Mites storage, right beside RCC. Him and Jeremy's dad. Jeremy Hardy. His dad used to be the coach. The year that Pop Warner and Hamlet stopped playing travel ball, I wanted to take my talents to Rockingham to be able to face different talent. So I never forget going to Rockingham and playing for that team, and I only played 1 game because they wouldn't let me play the season.
I heard about that
It
too.
was it was the most hurting thing as a child at that
I
point in
heard
time, being a
about
Pop
that.
Warner child and adults
They,
being able to say that you can't
they were
play.
saying you was too good to play in the
I
league.
was I was too good to play in the league. First of all, whenever I came from Hamlet over there, I never forget it. I came out there. I didn't even know that I was going to play. Like I came to practice for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then I guess the coach told me that he couldn't put me at running back, which I was playing in Hamlet. He told me that I would only play defense, and they put me at safety. And like I said, it was a good run that game, but a guy came across the middle, and after that, to the sideline. Told me I got to go to the sideline, and then that's when Jimmy Roscoe told me he was like, "Hey Norman, if you want to pursue this to another level or whatever, because it's wrong, you're a kid just like everybody else." They was
Yeah.
asking, can they check my birth certificate and all that? That's when we had Hank on the team. We had Jeremy, Justin. Um, we had Curtis Eaton. We had a lot of those guys from Rockham on the
Hey,
team, but it was a time then, boy.
so that
Dustin
means that your travel ball career and your Pop Warner career was over, and your
was
Richmond
over
career was
just
over.
like that. It was over
Just like
just like
that.
that. It was over just like that. It was nothing. It's nothing that I did illegal, or it was nothing that they couldn't say that I was playing in this league and playing in that league.
Who
It was
signed off on that?
I
Somebody
don't
that
know,
was
but I
hating,
know after
man.
that first game, boy, it was that
Somebody was
first
hating,
game.
man. It's football. You got man up or
Boy, if you'd have been there, it
he
was a
said,
time.
"Man, my dad stopped coaching because of that BS like that." Yeah, that was
Hey,
that
it
was
was
wrong.
crazy. It was crazy because like we had people had real tears out there. And I don't even think that we was the best team out there. To be honest with you, we wasn't the best team out there. That was the whole reason for me coming to that team. Like they wasn't the bottom of the barrel, of course, but like they wasn't the best team out there. But like once I played safety, and it was like after that,
Nah, that was
but I took what I learned in Hamlet, like
that
ball
travel ball
travel
different.
ball, and took it over to the Rockingham, and it
Listen,
just
people listening out here in the world, rec football is serves a purpose. You know what I mean?
right.
It's
It's a
definitely
big difference.
valuable. It's serves a purpose, but travel ball is something totally different.
Totally different.
You're playing the best of the best in these areas. It's different,
Right.
and it breeds a different type of monster.
It's like I remember breaking my arm in Kings Mountain, and didn't know at the time I broke my arm, and then my mom told me like, "Yo, my son can't go back out there and play or whatever because he broke his arm, and I still trying to fight to get out there to play." So it was like a different type of competitive atmosphere having travel ball.
Mr. Covington, what's up, boss man?
What's going on? You got it, man. You got
What's
it.
up,
How you
D?
doing,
What's
Mr.
up?
Whitley?
How you doing, boss?
Yeah, you
Glad
got
to have
it.
you on today, man.
Likewise.
Talk to us, man. We got Mr. Doman Whitley on here, man. I
You
know
got
you're a
ever do it on the.
I know you're a historian. Talk to the man for me.
Look, you guys still in middle school, man. I'm gonna wait till you get to high school and college.
Okay.
You know, he went to Hamlet, so I went to Rockingham, so I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah,
I didn't respect football players from Hamlet.
yeah. That's the reason why we didn't lose over there.
Let me get this thing together. Let me see. Make it a little different.
But glad you came on, D. Glad you came
Appreciate
on.
it, man.
So Norman, so now you done got bull jive, the one of the worst things I ever heard of in youth football didn't happen. People were scared of you. So now we're in middle school, 7th grade, and they can't stop you from playing. So I'm sure you got a whole lot of anger and
Yeah, man.
into you.
Yeah, that's when I started to realize that I could be something, right? I give thanks to my mom because without disciplining my parents, because without discipline in the household, I wouldn't have completed my 7th grade year of junior high. I remember not doing some chores at the night before. My mama told me that if I don't do the chores, she was gonna come out there and get me off the football field. And guess what? She came. And when she came and I seen the impact that it made on my team, that's when I realized at that point in time that hey, you can be something. You can be something. But going to junior high, it was some people that played a big role, man, in junior high. Jason Norton, big role.
Talk to me.
Coach Burr, big role. Jason Norton was the first person that actually believed in me and Tavares and some of the other people too. But I remember times that he would believe in us and to the point that he was telling us about when he played. And we looking at like, we don't know those guys, but every Friday we would go watch those guys or watch the guys that he would tell us about. But back when Jason Norton played, he was telling us about some of these guys that was great and how they became great and what it took to be great. Jason Norton played a big role, man, because like he came through like anytime that we needed him for anything, anybody to talk to at that point in time, like he came through. And Coach Bird too, as a 9th grade coach as well. But Jason Norton was my seventh grade coach, I want to say. 7th, 8th grade coach.
Yeah, Jason Norton, that's it. Definitely one of these stuff. All right. So in 7th grade, who are some of your teammates in 7th grade at Hamlet?
Oh, we got Tavares Brown, we got Evan, I'm gonna bring up another person that I want to give his flowers to is Chuck Bishop. Chuck Bishop nephew was out there, so that means Charlie Bishop was out there and Chuck Bishop was out there. Jeremy Barrington was out there for a little while. Jimmy Douglas. Who else we have? Justin Gatewood. Who else we have out there? Tim Brown. So we had a couple stars out there, a couple guys out there.
So your 7th grade year, did you guys win it all?
Yeah. 7th grade year, we won it all. But not only did 7th grade year that like we win it all, I knew that it was kind of destined for us throughout the 7th, 8th grade, and 9th grade year. Like I said, going back to these people, Jamar Bryant, Danielle Ellaby, Tavon Morrison, Lavanda Thomas, people like that. I remember they used to be in the 9th grade, and we used to back then used to scrimmage. 7th to 8th grade used to go against 9th grade. When I knew I was decent, then when the coach stopped the scrimmage, when he stopped the scrimmage, I knew. I knew. I
So
knew.
back then, 9th grade was still at
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah. So it was 7th, 8th, and then 9th grade. So 9th grade is played against 9th grade, but it was all at Hammond Junior High. Just like you had Rockingham was 7th, 8th. They played together, and then you had 9th.
Correct.
So now I think the 9th go to another school and all that.
Yeah, yeah. That was a question online last week by got my guy name. The guy that got all the history and stuff. I forgot his name. Dion
Crawford.
Yeah,
Who?
Dion Crawford.
Dion Cranford.
Cranford. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he was saying that.
I know Dion. I know
Yeah,
Dion.
he asked about a freshman scoring on varsity, and it wasn't you, but your brother told me that you was moved up from the 9th grade to play on varsity. Now, I know that it was possible because the guys that I knew in 9th grade that played on varsity got moved up had failed or was behind the grade, but you was a real 9th grader playing on varsity.
Right. But I played after the season. So
Yeah.
we did our run. I didn't lose any game throughout my junior high. Didn't lose any football game. But before we go on to that, I'm gonna tell you something else that was nice about being at junior high too. Coach Pede also believed in us too as an athlete because he put us on the soccer team and we won the championship in the soccer too. Me and Tavares, we did that. So he did. I want to give him his flowers because he believed in us as well and brought us out there. But going to the 9th grade, we completed our season. You got to think. Whenever I was in the 7th grade, and Jamar and them guys, Danielle and them guys, was in like the 9th grade or whatever grade it was in, Coach Barnes used to come out there and get them from junior high. They come out there after school through the 707 or whatever they did after school, right? So it was always that pipeline to get you ready and get you there to Richmond, right? So when Coach Barnes left or whatever, it wasn't no pipeline to get us there. Coach Emery came in there. And when Coach Emery came in there, what he believed was, I don't want my guys to waste any eligibility, right? But not only that, Jason Norton pushed for us because Jason Norton was a coach at junior high, at Hammond Junior High. And on Fridays, he would go be the kicker coach at Richmond. So like the connections and the conversation that, of course, have had between the coaches and stuff like that, they moved us up. I never forget it. They moved me up at first to be on JV. And I don't want to call the guy name out, but they moved me up to be on JV, and they gave me 16, which is like, give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? Off the right, or whatever. It wasn't a sweep. They just gave me the ball off the guard, and I ran up to which was one of the starting linebackers then. Gave him a little work or whatever, and then they said, "Hey, you going over there?" And that's how I got to varsity in my 9th grade year.
Wow. Right. So
and other people too, not just me. I'm not gonna say it was just me, but other people got moved up during that time. Tavares was moved up. I think Cal Roller came up from Rockingham. So it was other people that got moved up, but like for his playing, I was one of the ones that played.
Let me chime in right fast, Jeff.
Brother. Go ahead, man.
You played started defensive back too at Richmond, didn't you?
I did start defensive back at Richmond as well.
I seen a game, man, when you was on one of the best receivers in the country, and you was holding him down too.
Cool. Yeah, that's true too.
Who's that? The receiver?
Massaquoi. On that list that I sent you. John. He's the top receiver on
I know,
every.
man. Come on now.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I did
Certain
play.
names you have to know.
But I did play DB then at Richmond. I did play DB my 10th grade year at Richmond. Whenever I went to Richmond, I played running back and I played DB. But they had me at DB. When they played me at DB, I mean they needed me there, so I had to do what I could do.
So at any point are you putting in work outside of practice, or
I'm
just all
working.
natural talent?
I'm working. Like I'm working. So, but this is what we used to do as growing up. Like a lot of people probably don't do. As a kid, going back to as a kid, like our part one of games would be at like 10 o'clock. This is how invested me and my brother was into the game. It would be the game would be at 10 o'clock. Me and my brother would get up at 8 o'clock and go outside. Football is in the fall. The leaves is in the road. We would act like the leaves are the defenders, juking off the leaves, acting like the leaves are the defenders, right? So up until it's time for us to go to Memorial Park to play. So like whenever as I got older, we would play football in the street before the bus came. So we would play tag football. So other than that, it was working. It was working. If I could work and get a couple of dollars, I would work and get a couple of dollars. But it became a time when I was at Richmond and a Booster Club member, seen that I was working, and he would help me out by giving me a little extra change on the side after games. So I will say that. I got to tell the people that I do appreciate him for that too.
We all
I
know
needed
that.
that. I needed that. I did need that.
Handshakes.
Yeah, I did need that. So I do appreciate that. But other than that, other than working outside of football, I would go to practice just like everybody else and put in that work. And once I was away from football, I'll be away from it.
All right. One question before I let Mr. Covington go. What would you think? What would you say is your best attribute as a running back?
Ooh, it just depends on who we playing. I mean, something like I told my brother, and I think I told Demetrius, not everybody is meant to be ran over, and not everybody is meant to be ran by. So it just depends on who we playing. Like, so as a running back, if I would say anything, I would like to say that I was an athlete. I could be able to change it up whenever I needed to change it up. So it's just not one thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. So we in high school now, right? You're at Richmond. Ed Emery's the head coach, and you on JV, not JV varsity, but you're starting defensive back. Did you play any defensive back in middle school?
No,
Or
I
you?
didn't play. I didn't play defensive back in middle school. Whenever I was in junior high, they just had me at running back because there's no need to be able to put me at running back at DB at that point in time. But whenever I got to Richmond as a 10th grader or whatever, of course, you had running backs that was there before me or whatever that was in the later grades and stuff like that. And I think a lot of politics played into a lot of things, which is cool. But I also think that in my 10th grade year, whenever I did get the ball and I did have the carries and the yards that I had, it was they knew they had a running back there, and they knew they had a DB as well because in the 10th grade, my first letter wasn't to play running back. It was never to play. My first couple letters was never to play running back.
You said 10th grade.
Yeah, whenever I got to 11th grade, yeah, I played running back, but my first letters wasn't to play running back.
You been recruited? You got started recruited in 10th grade?
I didn't get recruited in 10th grade, but I played DB and a little bit of running back in the 10th grade. So I had a pretty, I would say, decent rushing yards in the 10th grade, but I was a better DB. I mean, when the people came to see Massaquoi and I had to line up against them every single play, and I'm not saying this to downgrade anything, but I don't even think Massaquoi got 100 yards that game on my side, and I was a starter DB.
Right.
So DB is one of the positions that people was looking for me to play the following year because I was so decent at it my 10th grade year.
Very versatile, man. Very versatile. I remember watching you at running back. I kept hearing your name. I said, I got to go check this kid out. I think the first game I came and saw you play, you almost had about 300 yards.
Yeah. I hope we talk about this.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
So a lot of the young kids, man, when women lie, men lie, but numbers don't lie. When you look in the record book at Richmond, I think you own about almost every category.
Yeah, I haven't seen some of the records that has been broken in this last couple of years, but coming out, I put my stamp on it.
Yeah,
I put
because
my
I
stamp
think
on a lot of them.
2 back-to-back years, I think you went over what 2,000 yards.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
back to back years. I mean, and then my 10th grade year, I got 700 yards.
Wow.
I think it got like 60, 70, 75 carries for close to 700 yards. My
About
10th
10
grade
yards a
year.
carry.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
crazy.
know pre-interview you sent me a list for the all-time NC State records, and there's only 4 guys
It's only 4 guys.
on that whole
In that
list
whole
of
list.
records in the whole
North
state.
Carolina. North
So,
Carolina. North Carolina.
who are those guys?
Who's those guys? You got Flip Ellaby up there. Give him his flowers. You got Flip. You got Rabbit. Nobody's never going to beat Rabbit. Let me say that for the record. Nobody's never going to probably beat Rabbit record of the 18 return kicks. You got Flip, Rabbit, myself, and Lavelle Ellaby.
Oh, wow.
Lavelle Ellaby came a little later, but he did great things. I think he got nine consecutive games with a touchdown, receiving touchdown or something like that. He did some good numbers.
Wow.
Wow.
How many touchdowns did you have your junior year?
Man, I can't even remember. I think like close to 40, 39, 40, 38, somewhere around there.
And Tecmo Bowl numbers.
You know what's kind of crazy, because you got these older people that would say that I got a lot of carries and I got all these carries, but when you go back and look at the final score to a lot of these games wasn't really a blowout win like some of those greater teams. You're right.
Right.
Also, when you talk about the carries, it was no more carries than anybody else got. I think the most carries I probably got in the game was probably 28.
Oh, wow. I seen
Go ahead,
somewhere where you had like 1,000 yards in 3 games. Can you talk
Yeah,
about
that's the most important. That's the most important stat to me. Whenever you're talking about these numbers, I remember when Marcus broke that 303 in the game, and it was my goal to try to break that record, and I went for it. You know what I'm saying? It was games that I knew I was going to go for. In that game, I think I got 290. I think in 3 games I got 298, 293, and I think 276 in 3 games, which puts me close to 900 yards in a 14 game season. With the playoffs, 3 games puts me close to 1,000 yards. That's what people don't realize. And the average of those 3 games, I think the carries was probably like 23, 24 carries.
So Marcus Rush had the record at 303.
He had the 303 in the game. He got that against Scotland. He got that against Scotland, which I don't think. Huh?
It's a hard team to get it against.
Yeah, it was a hard team to get against, but I mean, Richmond played a different type of offense too. Then you had the option offense where, like, you know how the option offense works. So I mean, he had a great game. I won't take anything away from him, but they had an option offense with Jamar. So
Okay, could you tell me some of the great running backs from the high school that you looked up to?
Tony Baker. Y'all remember Tony Baker that went to state?
Yeah. He was at Winston-Salem High Point area, right?
Yeah, he was A.O. Brown or somewhere like that. Then you had the Brown kid that went to state too. Both of them went to state. They came from A.I. Brown to one of the smaller schools. I remember George Bell. You guys remember George Bell?
Jack Britt. Yeah,
George Bell. I remember, like, whenever you talk about the running backs, I remember Josh Adams that came through whenever I came through. But like when you talk about some of the greater running backs for some of these other schools, like I don't think I could think of is some of those people like George Bell and people in that such. You got the Pyramid Boys that played for Providence,
Yeah.
and like them boys could run. They had some deers out there. So.
Yeah.
Now, when I asked that question, I was talking about Richmond running back. You went all over the world.
Man, you know.
Now, I'm saying guys that came before you that you seen on Friday nights put their work in.
The best guys that I have seen with my own 2 eyes.
Listen, I'm not asking for a top 5 or anything. I'm saying what guys influenced you.
Oh, before I came there, you got Charles McNeil, you got Mike Green. Like Mike Green, I tell people to this day, Mike Green to get you in open field and do you dirty, like you dirty, and like you could be the number 1 guy and he would do you dirty. So I watched Mike Green. Then you had the Rabbits. Got a lot of respect for Marcus Ellaby. Like those are the guys that like when I looked at say the staple of running backs that I'm watching, like those are the guys I'm looking at, and I'm like, yo, and we talking about guys like Marcus Ellaby and Rabbit. They don't even play running back full time. You know what I'm saying? But whenever they got that pill, it was like what you gonna do with them? Like so when you say look up, I'm gonna tell you another person that I looked up to growing up as well during that era was Vegas Jackson. Vegas Jackson played a big role in a couple of things as well, but on the football field, you got Rabbit, you got Mike Green, you got Marcus Ellaby, you got Charles McNeil.
Hey, listen, those guys are on the same team.
Right. So that's the crazy thing.
That's crazy.
The only thing I'm looking at is numbers. Like I'm looking at the numbers because you don't know who. You know when they're in that running back slot, you know what's up. When Mike Green broke his leg and Charles McNeil broke his leg, it's like, oh man, who gonna do it next for Richmond? That's when Marcus Ellaby and Rabbit, like you like, whoa.
It was deep.
Deep. You got Demetrius, he fast too. So it's like him and his brother, like, but it's so deep. It's so deep in that room. It's like you can go with anybody. So those are the guys that I looked at.
Let me tell y'all a story, man. I'm about probably maybe a year behind Mike Green, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at people, Mike Green this, Mike Green that. I probably in the 5th or 6th grade, something like that. Mike Green this, I'm fast too. I'm fast too. So somehow, I think I was with my cousin Peony one time.
Yeah. And
we was out to Mike Green them house. And I said, oh, Mike Green, give my chance to see how fast I am. Man, listen. Me and Mike Green lined up.
Did he do you dirty?
Mike Green did me so dirty. I said, there's no way he that fast. Look.
Right.
Came back to the second race. He gave me like 5 yards. And he still beat me by like 10. I said, Lord have mercy. What kind of speed is this?
But John, you got to look at it, John. We was running summer track, and you know our dad owns the record at Richmond in 100 meters. It's been there for over 40 years, running like a 10 300 meters. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. We went to. It's kind of crazy because we went to states. Our 4x1 team went to states. Me, Marcus Quick, which is Mike's Quick nephew. Me, Marcus Quick, Blow, which is Terrence Marks, and Richie Houston. Made it to the 4x the states. And
what was your time?
Man, I can't tell you what our time was, but it was when we came out there with that West Charlotte crowd. They was blazing out there. Man. But I'm gonna tell you what, we had a good coach that knew how to motivate us. We had Coach Hope as our track coach.
So you ran track.
One of the greats there, buddy.
Yeah, I ran track as well.
Played
baseball, ran track, played soccer.
Oh wow.
Soccer.
Basketball, yeah.
Basketball, I played basketball in junior high. I really wasn't no good in basketball. I was real strong, real fast, and can jump. So they used me at small forward, and my main thing was to be able to get the rebounds and put them back up and be able to play defense. So basketball is probably one of my least sports that I was probably stand out in. But one sport that I loved and I wish I could have continued to play was soccer. Though soccer,
Oh,
I was
wow.
that, yeah,
So you play sports all year round?
all year round. But that was just in junior high. I didn't play as a little boy soccer. I didn't. I played baseball and football as a little boy, and then as I got to junior high, I played a year of soccer, baseball, basketball. Then whenever I got to Richmond, it was nothing but focus on getting faster and getting better. So whenever I came from ninth grade whenever I came from ninth grade to 10th grade, I was one of the very few, probably the first Iron Raider as well.
Oh, wow.
I think the only one that probably got it before me was James Gandy, which was
Yeah,
Ox.
you were
He
strong.
was
He
squatting
was
his
Ox.
whole damn
He was Ox.
heavy weight in the building.
Yeah. So he was an Ox. So, but yeah, other than that, it was like just get better, get on that football field and get better.
I don't want to jump around because I know we're still in high school, man.
Go ahead,
But
brother.
you probably one of the only players from Richmond that was MVP in the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I just learned here recently,
Yeah.
that playing in the Shrine Bowl, North Carolina, South Carolina Shrine Bowl, which I know back then, a lot of
This
the
guy
older
right here.
guys, that went to state championships, they didn't have opportunity to play.
Right.
But yeah, I remember Coach Emery telling me that I'm gonna take you out of the Shrine Bowl. You're not gonna go down there. I'm just gonna send Tavares and I'm gonna send somebody else. And he was like, if you're not going to play hard, you're not going to do right. I'm just not going to send you. Because I had that little personality at one time in high school. But I told him nonchalant that I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna do what I do. And going down there, I never forget. The coach was Benny Bean or something like that. And I never forget it. He was like, yo, like, you got good talent. I'm gonna keep you in this game. And I think I finished with over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, got the MVP. And it's like crazy because I just putting out some of the jerseys and I got that jersey right there.
Wow.
Crazy.
So
I,
I'm sorry. Any teachers in high school that helped you along the way?
Teachers in high school.
That
In
stayed on
high
you and
school, Bobby Little was my guy. Bobby Little, he wasn't the teacher, but he was my guy. Coach Coach Edens, you know what I'm saying? Coach Edens was he would get in the weight room with me. You know what I'm saying? Coach Hoggart, Miss Smith, she was an English teacher. She played a huge role. Coach Nick was my Part 1 coach too. Coach Nick played a big role throughout because he ended up being a wrestling coach. He used to try to get me out there and wrestling, and I just wouldn't go out there. But like he played a role because he knew me as a young kid. And so he played a role as well to keep me in line. But a lot of the guys that was coaching during my time was young coaches that later went off after a year or two. But for as teachers wise, them the ones that I can remember probably the most.
who were some of your teammates, man, in high school?
Um,
I know Bostic stands out.
who's that?
Bostic.
Boston.
Is it Bostic? Last name Bostic kid when he came out? Am I saying that right?
No, Tavares
Bars.
Brown. Tavares Brown.
Brown.
Okay.
Tavares Brown is my guy. Like that's my guy. We have done everything together, and it was all intent to go to the same school too. But Tavares, he was there and on my team. You had Tim Brown, Justin Gatewood. You had Dewey Coleman. You had Trey, Andre Crouch, All American, All State, Mike Collins. You had Brent at the quarterback. You had Lil John at the receiver. You had Shelton Bloomfield.
Mm.
Some of those guys.
Who were some guys that you came up with that probably didn't make it to Richmond, but was a hell of an athlete?
Tony Harris.
Tony Harris.
Tony Harris. Tony Harris was if a lot of people probably don't know who he was, but Tony Harris was a good athlete. He played running back too, and he would give me a run for my money. But I think that his parents ended up moving him off somewhere, and didn't really see him until I got much older. Other people, um, I don't know. That's probably the one that stands out the most, probably to me.
That was
That
that was
he didn't go through. Mario Boston was pretty good too. A lot of people don't know him, but Mario Boston was good. He just had to keep his head straight sometimes. People know Dooney from Hamlet. He didn't grow up with us or whatever, but at Richmond or whatever, people didn't really know who he was based off all he did, because he played a big role in a lot of things to keeping us loose as well.
cool. So your recruiting process, man. T- Let me hear it. Was it always or was it somebody else?
Say what now? You going in and out. I'm sorry.
All right. Recruiting process. What schools could it have been?
Man, whenever I was going through the process, man, everybody was kind of hitting me up or whatever. I kind of messed over myself throughout the process or whatever, but I was young and didn't realize it. I remember before I go into that, I remember Michael Waddell and Vegas Jackson. We was the Robernettes had a party at their house, and Vegas Jackson was there, and Rabbit was there. Never forget it. And a week after that, Carolina offered me. That was my 11th grade year, high school. So I had Carolina, all the smaller schools. I was getting recruited by Wake Forest. Wake Forest wanted me to cut my hair, so I didn't go there. Ohio State. Ohio State played a big role in a lot of stuff. South Carolina recruited me as a DB. So they wanted me to play DB. North Carolina State, they looked at me and they wanted me too. They had Chuck Amato, the running back coach, but they had Tony Baker and everybody there. So they were stacked in that running back room. So I knew I didn't want to go there. And of course, East Carolina, which recruiting. App, Marshall, Mendenhall, that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was at Marshall during the time. Can't really go there because he there, you know what I'm saying? So I try to find a spot that was good for me. But that was some of the teams that was heavy. That was heavy.
Are we in the college now?
No, we ain't in college yet. I had a question in my head that was so good, and I just lost it.
Well, think about that question, John. I remember a game when you guys played Jack Britt your senior year. I think you faked out everybody except for me. You ran towards the sideline. You're like you was about to go out the sideline. Then you turned it back upfield, but the ref blew the whistle. You can fake the ref out. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that, and I felt like that play was. I remember that like it was yesterday, because I think that game was a game that we really needed, because Jack Britt was good at the time.
Yeah, both of y'all was on the field.
And I was about to be gone, and he blew that whistle in that. And it's kind of crazy, because looking at it in hindsight, he shouldn't have been even close to blowing that whistle.
No, you faked him out. You act like you was about to run out of bounds. You got right to the line and you ran upfield.
Yeah. We ain't doing no running out of bounds. That's not how we was raised.
And that's one thing that separates you to me from a lot of the great running backs. You was bigger, faster, and probably stronger. You would run up a linebacker chest and wouldn't care.
Yeah. You, like I said, you gotta realize who you can run by and who you can run at, right? And a lot of the times, if I knew that I was playing a good opponent, or we was going against a good opponent, and I knew it was a linebacker, because I knew most of the time they was going to put 8 in the box or 9 in the box against me, I knew at that point in time, one thing that I knew what everybody on the offensive line did on every play. I knew their blocking schemes, and I knew what I needed to do. That's very important. Very important. So I knew who can do what and who couldn't do what. And there will be times that I remember playing against somebody that was pretty good, and I would run by him for a quarter or two, just run by him, to where he's like, he don't want no parts of me. And then that third and fourth quarter, I would say, like it's time. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it would be the other way around. I would run at somebody and just keep on running at them to where now their feet is in the ground, and I would just dart off and keep it moving.
Man,
So
I
it
seen you
gets the
catching
time and the
passes out
place.
the backfield too.
Say that one. Say
I
one
seen
more
you
time.
catching passes out the backfield
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I think that right there that a lot of people don't look at when looking at some of the good running backs or whatever. I was always trying to be the running back to do it all, be able to do it all, be able to catch, be able to kick return, take it back for his kick returns, be able to block. That's important. So I was trying to do it all, do it all. That was important to me to be able to be well-rounded.
What number did you wear during your high school career?
I wore 33. My high school career, I wore 33. But during the year that I moved up from ninth grade to varsity, I wore 42.
Now, was there a reason for 33
They
or
didn't have somebody had 33, so they just had to give me like it was after the season, so they had
no?
to give me.
When you got 33, was it the reason you had 33?
Oh no, I always had 33 because I wanted a 33 as a child. I never looked at somebody and said, "Oh, they have 33. Let me get that number." Had I knew as many greats had 33, I probably wouldn't have another number. But I was never that guy to say, "Hey, let me get that number." No, I
So you
just
had 33 in middle school too?
had 33 in middle school all throughout college. I told East Carolina in order for me to come there, they had to give me that number.
Oh wow.
So they gave it to me. They took it from a guy and they gave it to me.
Took it from a guy.
I don't mean it like that. I ain't mean it like that.
Okay,
yeah.
man. So, here we go. Time to get a little shaky, baby. Give me your top 5 running backs from Richmond Senior High School. If you don't
Man,
mind.
I don't have no top 5. It's me and then the rest of them. It's me and the rest of them.
Oh Lord,
No, I'm gonna give you a top 5.
Me and the rest. Hey, listen, a lot of folks have you at number 1. I say that, and the stats say number 1, but some folks don't like all
but no, if I had to break it down to a top 5 and not in particular order, I would have to ask, like, are we just talking about strictly running backs, or are we talking about people that was
strictly running backs?
Strictly running backs. Now, cause it's hard to include Rabbit and them in there because
I'm not. I want to. I would include just strictly the running backs. So my top 5 would probably have to be Mike Green, Flip. Myself, Mike Green, Flip. Maybe Charles McNeil.
Yeah.
And I got one more.
Uh-huh.
This is tough.
Got
This
one
is
more.
tough. So
you know what's coming. Come on now.
If I had to add another one there, it would probably be either Chris Covington or Jaheim, Flip son.
Oh, there you go, Chris. Good Chris from Love. That's my guy.
I think him or either Jaheim. Jaheim did some special things there too. I think Chris never got the credit that he was deserved.
They sleep on Chris.
They sleep on him, and they sleep on him based on his running style and how he ran.
I think he came behind so much greatness that it overshadows what he did.
But he people don't look at him as being a great dog. He was a dog. He was a dog. Yeah. So when you talk about per dogs, people that you want a game plan around, those are the people that I would think game plan around during that time.
I agree. Let me ask you this question. So when you got to college, there was Chris Johnson was there, right?
Right, fastest person I ever seen.
How was it playing with him?
Chris is a different animal, man. You got to see it to believe it. Like I always said to myself that Rabbit was that guy for speed wise until I seen Chris. When I seen Chris touring with the defense and the coach saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna blow the whistle until somebody touch him," that's unreal. Like that type of speed, you just don't teach that. Yeah, you just don't teach that. But Chris was my he showed me around ECU when I was getting recruited. Um, they projected me to probably be the next person up, and then um, stuff derailed, and then Chris left, won the conference championships back to back.
Mhm.
But it was some great times. Led the team in rushing. It was some great times being at ECU. Scott Cooper and Brian Willer played a big role. Me being at ECU during my time, they kept me sane my whole time being at ECU. Scott Cooper, Brian Willer, I appreciate you guys.
So, jump back a little. What is your greatest memory as a Richmond Raider?
Ooh, as a Richmond Raider, what's my greatest memory? I have so many, man.
Hey, let me
It's so
hear,
much
man.
stuff that I remember being a Raider
Talk to me, man. Let
from
me hear.
people. Oh, one a story about Coach Emery. I never forget. I never forget. We was at Anson, and we were playing Anson that year, and it was a kick return. And during that kick return, Coach Emery told me to run in the middle. But when I caught the ball, I didn't see anything in the middle. So I ran to the outside. Once I ran to the outside, um, I came to the sideline. He grabbed my face mask. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that.
It's good, baby.
Sorry about that. Hold on. So I just lost my train of thought. When being at Richmond, whenever I was at Richmond, one of my greatest memories, I came to the sideline, he grabbed my face mask and he was like, I did not tell you to run in the middle, blah, blah, blah. I chopped his hand, went to the sideline, and when I went to the sideline, Coach Edens, which is Pinecrest head coach, he said, Norman, you're not getting back in that game until you go over there and apologize. And I don't necessarily think I apologized because I didn't at that time. I didn't think I felt like I needed to apologize. But that game, I end up with like 4 or 5 touchdowns that game, 4 touchdowns that game, and I'll never forget. Adson coming to our bus and told us that if we won the game, but if we get off that bus, we know what time it is.
It's always done that.
So that was a good memory, a funny memory, a good memory. But another good memory of being at Richmond, man, my motivation was a lot different than a lot of other people. Whenever I was at Richmond, I remember one day that Coach Hope came out there and told us that story about the dog. I'm quite sure some of you guys probably heard about that dog, that mad dog. And he told us that story, man, and I was so much in the zone. I never forget that that was playing the national anthem, and I just started crying. And at that point in time, I knew I was locked in, and go out there and just did what I did. But other than that, like any in particular one memory, it doesn't necessarily stand out. Besides putting my knee in, everybody thinking I'm down and scoring, stuff like that, or everybody think I'm going out of bounds and I'm going up the field, stuff like that. But other than that, it was all memories.
Did the college games? Because I'm sure they were much bigger crowd wise. Did they feel the same as high school, or high school felt just a little different?
It's a little different because the students treated a little different. You know what I'm saying? Is a lot of people that know about you. There's a lot of people that know everything about you whenever you're on that college level. So the atmosphere was different, but when you get in the game, everything is everything at that point. But I will say that people are stronger, faster, of course. But for as the game, everything's still the same. And actually, to me, it kind of slowed down being at in college versus being at Richmond. It kind of slowed down at a slower pace for me at Richmond, at ECU than college.
Explain why, if you don't mind.
Because at Richmond, everything was happening in such a fast pace. I didn't get a chance to be able to. I developed as a player of being able to read some of the defenses, but in Richmond, it's like they got 8 or 9 in the box every single play. So it's like I'm moving. Like even when I don't get the ball, they hit me. You know what I'm saying? So in college, everything kind of became normal. Everything kind of slowed down. Okay, people not going to hit me every play if I don't got the ball. It gives me opportunities to read the defense, learn the schemes a little bit more, and things like that. So I think it slowed down for me a lot in college when I played college ball.
That was that was cool. That was cool to hear that. That was cool to hear that.
Yeah, but because high school, you got 9 in the box, 8 in the box, and the whole goal was to be able to see and know and understand what my guys did. It was never to know that hey, they got 9 in the box and this is what they're going to try to
and the
do.
whole world know you know,
Yeah,
know you running.
so for in high school, it's like it's 9 in the box. Okay, I got to find something. I got to find something fast.
Norman, got a question for the young running backs. Tell them why 9 was in the box.
Oh, 9 was in the box because they had a game plan to be able to try to cut off the head of the snake.
Right.
And they felt like if they could stop me at the time, then Richmond would lose the game. So for me, it was times that Coach Hard knew that I understood the game. Coach Edens knew that I understood the game so much to where it was like me being a coach out there on the field. So them putting 9 in the box, it would be times that I would look at Coach Hogg and tell him in front of everybody, run that back. I want you to run that play back. And the reason why I wanted him to run that play back is at times because I seen something. And when you put 9 in the box, 8 in the box at times, you want to be able to keep that defense out there because you want to be able to do what you do against somebody that's running and hitting every play. Because I'm gonna run and hit every play. So sometimes I was like, hey, let's speed that up because I want to keep this momentum going, this pace going. But they put 9 in the box because they tried to stop me, D. And that's what
Still couldn't do it.
Yeah. Nope.
It was tough. It was tough. That's the reason why I tell people that it's kind of crazy that like when people talk about these stats and stuff like that, yeah, I put up numbers, but like numbers don't lie. And it wasn't like I was getting the ball every play because I think that I averaged around 9 yards a pop. So like as an offensive coordinator, how do you not? I mean, if you need something, how do you not give that? If you need a first down, you need 5 yards. If you needed 3 yards, it would be times it would be 3rd and 3, and we don't need to get off the field. But that 3rd and 3 turned into 6.
Quick.
So that's how it used to be at that time during my time playing.
All right. Just a pure fan question. I don't answer this, but when you get the ball during the game, do you hit a crowd, or when the whistle blow and the stop, the crowd comes back in?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it goes back to my dad. I remember it'll be times that I wouldn't be doing anything, like literally not doing anything impressive in the game. And my dad would come to me and be like, this is the reason why. This is what you need to do and stop doing. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be at times that you would hear certain voices throughout that stands, but it'll be times that everything's zoned out. But what would excite me about the stands though is when everybody like, ooh, and then everybody go, ah, because they know I done came out the back end of something, or they just see that that I just struck out. So the fans did play a big role in the sense of being able to hear some of them because you hear them. It's not like you don't hear them. It's just like you guys out there coaching. You hear that woman out there saying, put her son in. You hear her. You hear her. You're just not looking back there, but you hear her. Like you hear and she back there. But
she going off.
But she going off. But yeah, so you do hear. You do hear.
For sure. You got anything, Meek?
No, not right now, man. Because let me ask you this question: after your college, did you play football?
Man, whenever I left college, so I left in a crazy time. I came through Richmond at a crazy time, and I left during a crazy time. Whenever I left ECU, it was the NFL lockout in 2010. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was a lockout in 2010. I had a choice to make. I had a choice to stay here and train or go somewhere and play. Best thing for me to do is go somewhere and play. Because if I didn't, I was going to be around Greenville, being around Richmond County, doing something that I probably shouldn't be doing, right? So that's when I signed a contract to go to Europe. So I played professional football in Europe. And that was an experience. I was over there played the season, and it taught me a lot about football, and it taught me a lot about life, and it taught me a lot about myself, being in that arena. After that, I came back, tried out for a couple of teams, went to play for the Canadian team, Canadian League, and they had I think Mendenhall or somebody retired from the Pittsburgh Steelers after they won that Super Bowl. And when he retired, he came to that team that I was on because he had relationships with the running back. And at that time, I left there. They got rid of me there. And then I had other opportunities as well. Whenever I got to playing in the NFL, had a went to Detroit, had a couple of tries at Detroit or whatever. Things didn't pan out there. And then at that point in time, I said to myself, do you continue to play football, not play football, or not play football? And I always knew that I was smart enough and I didn't need football to be able to excel in life. Whenever I realized that I graduated with my 4-year degree in 3 years in social work, I knew then
Okay,
that
talk, George.
I knew that football was just a stepping stone to get me to where I needed to be. I knew football wasn't the end be all. I knew that it was more to life than just football. So for me, I jumped around and I stopped.
Okay. What part of Europe was you in?
Finland.
Finland.
So in Finland, in the summer months, it doesn't get dark. In the winter months, it doesn't get light, like the Alaska thing, right? But playing there, they didn't know their first language is not their language is not English. Their first language is the Finnish language, and then they speak French there. So it was a totally different ball game being able to like play there based off the language barrier. So I'm gonna show you this one little thing.
All right. So wait, coming back.
Let's pull some words out.
I'm sorry. Whenever I was there, I had some great times there. That's when I rocked number 4. So I switched it up. I went from 33 to 4 because all the stuff that I had to leave back with 33.
So that's something that I think is very, very important because football is an avenue to get you to school. You know,
I never thought that I would go to college
Yeah,
until 11th grade year of high school when I was at a soccer game. I wanted to play soccer so bad at Richmond. I was at a soccer game and I got a call from the coach at Carolina, and he told me that he offered me a full ride to go to Carolina. And he told me this is the stipulations. I'm offering you a ride to go to Carolina, or I'm offering 3 other running backs. Whatever 3 commits to me first, that's the 3 I'm taking.
you're playing the game.
He wasn't playing the game because when no 3 committed, I was out the race. So it wasn't a game. Yeah, it was that. Once those 3, I thought that I had time because Ohio State came to the high school to see me. I was going to play behind Maurice correct. Yeah, I was going to play behind him, you know what I'm saying? So that's what the avenue that I wanted to take. I wanted to go there because Ohio State is all you saw. And when the coach came there and he saw me, and I was like, yo, and he kept on saying, hey, we're going to get you out of there, or we're going to get you out, fly you out. And at the time that they were flying me out, I didn't go to the right airport to where I missed that opportunity. It was over for me there.
Wow.
So I dropped the ball a lot. But I didn't. I'm gonna tell you what. I had people like Rabbit and Vegas that put me in the room. They was in the room where I was in the room when we was at the Robert Nets. We was in the same room. So I mean, they didn't tell me, "Hey, this is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do." I didn't have nobody in my ear to say, "Hey, if you commit to Carolina, you can always decommit." Nobody never told me that. I didn't think that was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. But had I knew that was a thing, that's what I would have done. I remember being down there in Douglasburg. Was it Douglasburg or Westover, Demetrius?
Westover.
It was Westover. I never forget. I didn't know who Demetrius was. I just know a guy coming up to me, talking to me or whatever. Around that time that they offered me, he told me to commit. I didn't know him though. So of course I'm not gonna I'm not going to take that in. That's just a fan that's telling me the same thing that a lot of other fans telling me to go to State, telling me to go to South Carolina, telling me to go to A&T and all these other places. But I didn't listen at that point.
Let me elaborate on that right fast. And the reason why, because my brother Michael got caught up in that too. Carolina offered him, NC State offered him, Wake Forest, Maryland Terrapins, South Carolina, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna wait it out." I said, "No, you need to go ahead and commit." And actually, Brian Norwood came down here and talked to him and said, "Hey, they're gonna offer you need to go ahead and commit now." A lot of times, man, when you first generation college students out your
You don't
family
know.
don't know.
You don't know.
It has messed a lot of guys up, man, from the county. So I'm glad you brought that up. So some of the young guys that's listening, like Mr. Whitley said, you can always go ahead and commit, then decommit.
Right. That's always an option to do
Save
that.
your spot.
I also knew that. I always thought that for me that it would be a opportunity for me somewhere, because I knew that it was more than just football for me. I was in the classroom too, to where I could have excelled in that area to probably got a scholarship as well. So I knew that, hey, football was just a stepping stone to get to where I'm at. Now I'm so thankful that I went to East Carolina, because a lot of people that I met and a lot of people that I reconnected with there, it's been amazing. I can't take nothing from that.
So you got your master's as well?
I got my master's as well in HR.
Okay.
So I got my undergrad in social work, and I got my master's in HR, and currently now real estate. I'm in real estate like some of you guys, and own a trucking company. So that's what I do now. So
where you live at? You still local?
I'm here. I'm here now. I'm back here. The part of the reason to be able to be back here, I had a daughter that's 15 months, and
Congratulations.
appreciate it. The best teacher is your family, right? And it takes a village to be able to raise a child. So being able to come back here with her mother was the best opportunity for us to be able to so she can see things, right? And not only that, be a staple in the community. Like, we got a lot of stuff out here in our Black community that we just giving away, where we can hold on to and pass down. Me and John were just talking before we got on how my dad grew up four doors down from his mom, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, they came from the bottom, the mud, you know what I'm saying? And then John went over there off East Washington Street. So like, we all homegrown people, and we all homegrown, but it's like, let's keep our communities what they are.
And the most important thing is for these kids to see that, it's possible.
It's possible. It's possible.
From the hood
sports is just I want people to know that. I want people to know sports is just a stepping stone. To me, the records really don't mean anything. The yards don't mean anything. Did it help me get to where I needed to be in life?
Right.
That's important to me. That has been important to me since day one. So football, I love football. I like football, but it was a time that I said I don't need it. So
it didn't define who you are.
Yeah, it didn't define who I am. So, and once I realized that, that's when I realized what was going on in life.
Well, brother, we do my hand clap together, man, because this is a great interview, man. I appreciate you guys coming on tonight. It's not over. I just want to make sure that I give you your flowers while you're here, brother, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a legend. And I got some work for you to do in the community too, since you're home.
You said what now?
I got some work for you to do in community.
Yeah, let's get up and see if we can get something second with this younger group of guys. I'm very passionate when I'm out there on the football field. That's probably why I haven't been a coach, because I'm very passionate. I take it very seriously. If you're going to be out there spending your time, go hard at it. Go hard at it, and just as hard as you go out hard in that football field, in the streets, you got to do it also in the classroom. So that's one of the things that I would bring or hope to bring to the community, not just out there on the football field, but anybody that comes in contact with me. And like I said to you before, John, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being able to give me this opportunity to be able to tell my story to so many people.
Thank you.
because people don't know, right? People sometimes don't know, but it's more to life than just football, you guys.
Listen,
And
we
and
got a
what
lot
John
of viewers
and
on
what
here tonight, man.
and what John is doing, he's shining light. If I can tell these people this, John is shining light on the people that has came through Richmond. But if you go back to any of the interviews that he have went with any of the people, everybody has a similar story.
Yeah.
Everybody has a similar story. We all took our own routes, but we all got a similar story. But we couldn't have gotten to this stage in life without doing what we're supposed to do.
Amen.
For
Yeah.
sure. For shiggity. For shiggity sure. Hey, what I want to say, college, 3 years, graduated, went straight to college. A
Yeah,
lot of
went straight to
guys,
college.
a lot
Went
of
straight
guys
to
can't
college.
go straight to college like that. They
Yeah,
gotta make
went straight to
stops
college.
here and there. So that
Yeah,
means your grades was well enough to go straight to college, man. So
went to
that's
college
definitely a
and
blessing.
had a ball. One thing that I wanted people to also understand too, whenever I got to college, a lot of people not gonna want me to tell this story. That's probably on the college level. But whenever I did get to college or whatever, and I got to that point where the coaches knew that I could graduate or come back for another year, I had an incident of the fumble that happened that people probably
Oh,
want to talk about, right?
the
Had the
whole.
accident, had the accident of the fumble, right?
Mhm.
And that fumble was the last straw to lose us the game, but it didn't lose us the game overall.
Right.
That same year, I led East Carolina in rushing too.
Hmm.
Started 6 games, played in 4, over 6 yards, 5 yards a carry. So I'm saying all this to say this. I was good enough to play at ECU. I was an even better student, and I never forget after that fumble in that game. I never forget my coach, the head coach at that time, Skip Holtz, calling me in his office and telling me to tell my mom, call my mom on the phone with him in the office and tell her that East Carolina is not the place for me.
Oh wow.
And once he did that, I knew at that point in time my time was over playing on the football field at East Carolina. So I had an option. I had the option to transfer to another university or stay there. I stayed there, and the reason why I stayed there and didn't give up on my teammates because I knew I was walking away in 3 years with a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Clap for that, brother.
I remember that game, man. You had a great game.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
great game.
Yeah, played against Russell.
Yeah.
I remember playing against Russell Wilson and them boys at
Yeah.
state. So played against some good competition. Like I said, led the team in rushing. Went to back conference championships those years that I was there. But to say the coach had another plan for me, but my plan was to graduate. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
But man, listen, the records, the accolades, the awards you won, man, is definitely a blessing to be able to do it. But the bigger accomplishments is what you're doing now with your family, man. God bless you.
I
Um,
appreciate you.
don't be a stranger to me. Reach out, man. Let's put something together for these kids because, man, and we all know the kids down in the streets every week around here, man.
Yeah, we got to do
It has
something.
to
We
be
got to do
done.
something. We need some type of activities to be able to put these kids in, and we have sports that these kids will be good in, but we just don't have professionals to come here to be able to work with some of these kids because a lot of kids out here in the streets, right? And they got these guns and drugs and all this and that. Maybe, and it might be something like this, but maybe something like boxing or wrestling to be able to get these guys some of this anger off these guys so they won't be killing each other. Because killing your neighbor, the person that you killing, your grandparents grew up together. Your mom and daddy grew up together. You killing off your family.
I
So
said last week, I said, it's a small town. We all connected some way, somehow, man. There's not enough love out here, man. Because you killing somebody who you might love that love them. It's a
right,
small town,
right,
man. We all
right,
connected, so.
right. Let's put the guns down and talk. Let's talk about this thing and how we can help each other.
Hey, but guys, great interview today. I want to announce the what we got going on next week. Gonna be a great show. Great show. Hope you guys tune in. We got one of the biggest rivalries in school history. We got
Ooh.
Richmond and we got West Charlotte.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Next week, we're going to have on the live Rabbit again, and we're going to have Marcus Ellaby
Run it back.
from Richmond, and
I
from
like
West
that.
Charlotte, we got Thornton Belton,
Oh wow.
and we got Emory McLean.
Okay.
So it's going to be
Yeah,
a
Emory McLean. I
we a reunion of those great games from the late 90s. So it's gonna be really special, man. So tune in for that. But right now, man, let's give our claps up for Mr. Stormy,
Appreciate
Norman
you, man.
Whitley.
Appreciate you.
Been a blessing, man. I'm gonna holler at you. You know what I mean? Hey, shout out Train too, man. Train
Man.
loves his brother. You say Stormy Norman is not the number one back in Richmond. Train gonna pull out 55 newspaper article clippings,
Hey,
85 record books. He gonna tell you, show you the facts.
hey, he need to tell you women lie, men lie.
Numbers don't.
Numbers never lie. Numbers never lie.
For sure. All right, man. I know, man. Have a blessed one, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank
Great
you for having me
interview,
on.
man.
All
Love. Meet you at 11 too. All right, just me again. All right, so like I said, man, great interview with Norman, man. What a story. What a career. Local guy. He's back doing positive things in the community. So if you see him, reach out to him. And I'm excited, man. Next week, big show. West Charlotte, Richmond. All on one podcast, all on one screen. All right. We do have ads available. If you want to support the podcast, support your business, hit me up. All right. So right now,
Attention all Richmond County residents. Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Introducing online personal training sessions from a hometown native tailored just for you. Whether you prefer one-on-one attention or the camaraderie of group sessions, I've got you covered. DM me or send me an email to bdwall23@gmail.com to get started.
all right, it's bdwall23@gmail.com for all your fitness instructional videos and training. All right. Brittany Wall, bdwall23@gmail. Please reach out to her for all your fitness and training needs. Hometown girl. All right. And I have one more if I can pull up now. It won't let me show it. All right. I'll do it next time. My wife is having a small business meetup. It is going to be March the, give me 1 second, y'all. March the 16th. So Saturday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Located downtown at Nana's Coffee Rocks. All right. The flyer is on my page for it. If you're a small business around the county and want to network and exposure for your business, build strong connections, and gain resources, this is the event for you. Okay. It's on my page. Go look at it. Besides that, man, next week Kevin will be back. But shout out to Norman, man. Great interview, man. Norman Whitley. You know what time it is, man. One of the top players to come through Richmond County. All right. If you see Brad Denson, tell him we waiting on him too. Brad Denson, you have been requested to be on this podcast. No ducking. You see Brad Denson, tell him he need to be on Ball Guys podcast. Ball Guys Know It All podcast. All right. You guys have a great evening, man. One love. Carter out.